Ah, yes, absolute. I need a better PC. 200 frames a second on CS2, seriously. There must be something I can do to increase my frames. This is pathetic. I can help. If you go online and you search how to get more FPS in games, one of the most popular results that come up is Windows optimization. Now, there's a few little bits and bobs in Windows that I personally turn on, but I've never actually tested whether or not it does anything. Do the little things that you change in Windows actually have an impact on your FPS, on your in-game performance? I'm going to test it out today. Because I put all these settings on or turn these settings off to try and get more FPS, I don't actually know if it works or not. So let's have a gander. Let's see if these Windows optimization tips actually work. So, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get a base readout with none of these settings changed, none of these settings adjusted, what it comes as in Windows itself. Now, there's only a few main ones that I'm going to go through today, and these are the ones that most people claim have the biggest impact on FPS. I'm going to put it to stock, I'm going to get some base readings on a couple of games. Let's see what kind of performance we can get, and let's see what the difference is. So I've tried to get a bit of a mix. So we've got CS2, Cyberpunk, Doom the Dark Ages, and Oblivion Remastered. Now, I do get that the majority of them are more graphically intensive than CPU intensive, but we have got CS2 there just in case some of these tweaks affect the CPU more than the GPU. At least we'll know. I'm going to go on to the settings that we're going to change. So, the first thing that we're going to change is the power plan in Windows itself. So I'm going to bring up the control panel and change it to whatever is the highest power draw that it will let us have, which in this instance is Ultimate Performance. I'm then going to bring up NVIDIA control panel, and we're going to change a couple of settings in there that I keep seeing online that's supposedly going to boost your frame rate. The first thing is power management mode. That will go to prefer maximum performance, and we're going to change our shader cache size to 10 gigabytes. The next thing that we're going to change is texture filtering quality. We're going to change that from quality to high performance. And the last one is low latency mode. We are going to turn that on ultra. Now, there's a bit of an asterisk with this one. From what I can tell, sometimes this helps, sometimes it doesn't. And next we're going to go into advanced system settings, and we're going to change the performance settings, which is like your visual effects and stuff, to adjust for best performance. For some reason, takes ages to apply. There we go. And the last one, which is always a go-to recommendation when it comes to trying to increase your FPS and stuff, which is to disable your background program. So in the taskbar, I'm going to go down here, and the list of programs I've currently got running are the NVIDIA app, which I can't even remember installing. I don't usually install the NVIDIA app. Discord, iCUE, Afterburner, Chrome, Reaver Tuner Statistics, Razer Central, Wallpaper Engine, Nexus, and Steam. So I am going to disable as many of them as I can. Obviously I can't disable Steam, Reaver, and MSI Afterburner. And that leaves us with Steam, Afterburner, and Reaver. And that is it. These are the tips and tricks when it comes to Windows optimization I see all the time. And these are the ones I want to know if they make a difference or not. Now that we've turned all that off and we've got Windows default wallpaper, I'm going to rerun the benchmarks and let's see what kind of FPS increase we get from one to another. Hopefully we do see an increase, but I don't know, and that is the whole point of doing this. So I'll be back in a minute, and here are the benchmarks. So I'm going to quickly talk through these. We have the average FPS. As you can see with Cyberpunk, it has gone from 111 down to 109, so we've lost about 2% of our frame rate. Doom has seen a little bit of an uplift from 85 to 88. CS2 has seen the biggest jump, going from 204 to 221. That's an 8% increase. Oblivion has gone from 77 up to 82, which is a 7% increase. The fact that Cyberpunk went down about 2%, I would probably put that as run-to-run variance, but it could be the settings that we changed as well. On the next slide, we have got the 1% lows. So this one's a little bit more interesting. Cyberpunk has lost nearly 6% of its frame rate, going from 74 to 70. That's quite a big margin to lose. It's still over what you'd expect as a minimum smooth experience, but losing 4 frames a second in your minimums means these settings do not really help Cyberpunk out. Doom has gone down 1.3% from 66 down to 65. Again, I'd put that down to run variance, and CS2 has gone up from 100 to 105, which is a 4% increase. Oblivion gone from 43 to 52, which is a 20% increase in its 1% lows, which is really good. That will make it seem like a much smoother experience. On the whole, the differences enabling and disabling these settings is minor, as you can see. Is it worth doing? Maybe. With the increase in frames from CS2, I would guess that all it's really doing is making your processor a little bit more efficient. On the whole though, it doesn't have a massive effect. I don't think you would ever be able to notice the jump in frame rate or the decrease in frame rate across any of these games. It might be a little bit different if you've got a system that's struggling to run these games. Enabling these settings then might just inch it into that like 60 FPS bracket so that it would make sense. But if you've got a mid to high end rig or anything other than an ultra budget setup, you're probably fine and you probably don't need to worry about these settings too much. I've been wondering about this for ages. I'm glad that I made the video on it. If you liked it or you've got any other testing, performance tips or anything like that you want me to take a look at, please feel free to leave a comment. I purposely only did these few ones because these are the ones that I always see people say give the biggest increase. These are the ones that everyone says, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's how you get your better frame rates. That's how you get better 1% lows. And whilst that is true in some games, it's not in others. Now, it wasn't a comprehensive list, but I enjoyed testing it and seeing what the crack was. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and everything else that helps us out. Hopefully, I shall see you on the next one. Bye. Do these littles win? Do the little... Fuck off. Bollocks.